Dear students, myself Tanmoy Ghosh, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Science and Technology. Today, I am going to discuss the topics of fluid flow, which is the part of fluid mechanics and machinery under West Bengal State Council of Technical Education. At first, I am going to discuss the venturimeter. What is venturimeter? What is the purpose of this venturimeter? All these questions I am going to clear this session. It is a device which is used for measuring the discharge or a rate of flow of fluid through a pipe. It consists of an inlet section followed by convergent cone, throat and divergent cone. Convergent cone is attached with the inlet section of the pipe and throat is the cylindrical throat, which is the mid portion of this venturimeter, and the last portion, which is the attached with the outlet section of the pipe, is called a divergent cone, which is gradually diverge in this venturimeter section. Now, the principle of the venturimeter. Venturimeter is an apparatus used for measuring the discharge of a fluid flowing through a pipe. Basically, the principle on which it works is that by reducing the cross-sectional area of the flow passage, a pressure difference is created and the measurement of the pressure difference enables the determination of the discharge through a pipe. This is the basic principle of the venturimeter. It consists of convergent cone, throat and divergent cone. Already I have discussed. Now, what is the convergent cone? It is the inlet of the venturimeter. It is a short length pipe which converges from diameter D1 of the pipe to the smaller diameter D2, that is the throat. Now, the mid portion of the venturimeter, that is throat. It is a very small and narrow circular pipe whose dia D2 is constant. Here the velocity of flow is uniform, and the last portion of this venturimeter, that is the divergent cone. What is the divergent cone? It is a pipe which diverges from dia D2 of the throat to the larger dia, that is the D1 of the pipe. The length of the divergent cone is always greater than the 3 to 4 times of the convergent cone. Why? Why? There is a question arises, why 3 to 4 times larger than convergent cone is equals to the divergent cone? Why? The liquid, while flowing through the convergent cone, it is nearly accelerated, which causes the velocity at the throat greater than the entrance and corresponding decrease in pressure. That means when the passage is narrow in the way of the fluid, then this is happen. The liquid, while flowing through the divergent cone, it retards, causing decrease in viscous velocity and increase in pressure. If the pressure is rapidly recovered, there is every possibility of breakage of walls of the venturimeter. That means যখন ক্রস সেকশনটা রিডিউস হয়ে যাচ্ছে, তার মানে as well as decrease in pressure and decrease in velocity and increase in pressure. For this reason, when the passing through the throat, after passing the throat, then there is a huge pressure which causes, যেটা কি করে না, এই যে ডাইভারজেন্ট সেকশনের ওয়ালটা আছে সেই ওয়ালটাকে ব্রেক করে দেওয়ার একটা পসিবিলিটি থেকে থাকে। In order to avoid this tendency of the breakage of the walls, the divergent cone is made artificially larger. Also, a longer divergent cone minimizes the friction losses. For this reason, there is 3 to 4 times longer or larger than convergent cone. Now, let the working principle of the venturimeter. What happen? As the cross sectional of the throat is smaller than the cross sectional area of the inlet section, which I have already sometimes ago I have already discussed. The velocity of flow at the throat will become greater than that inlet section according to continuity equation. The increase in the velocity of flow at the throat results in decrease in pressure at this section. As such, a pressure is developed between the inlet section and the throat of the venturimeter. The pressure difference can be determined either by connecting differential manometer between the pressure taps provided at these sections or by connecting the separate pressure gauge at each of the pressure taps. The measure of the pressure difference between these sections enables the rate of flow of fluid to be calculated. Now, the derivation of the expression of venturimeter. Let P1 V1 Z1 be the pressure, velocity and datum height at section 1-1 and P2 V2 and Z2 be the pressure, velocity and datum height at section 2-2 section. A1, that is the cross sectional area at 1-1 sections, that is the pi by 4 into d1 square, and A2, that is the cross sectional area at 2-2 sections, that is the pi by 4 into d2 square. From equation of continuity, that is the A1 V1 equals to A2 V2. From this equation we can easily calculate V1 equals to A2 V2 upon A1. From Bernoulli's equation we know that pressure energy plus kinetic energy plus potential or datum energy, that is equals to constant. So, particular in Bernoulli's equation we must know the energy is always constant in every cross section. as per definition or as per Bernoulli's equation, we can easily calculate or easily write, that is the section 1 pressure energy and kinetic energy and as well as datum energy is, that is the P1 upon W plus V1 square by 2G plus Z1 is equals to the outlet section, that is the pressure energy P2 by W plus V2 square by 2G plus Z2, that is equal. So, from this equation we can write V2 square minus V1 square by 2G, that is equals to P1 minus P2 by W. We can say that is the H. Now, if we common, that is 1 upon 2G from this equation, that is 1 upon 2G into V2 square minus A2 square V2 square by A1 square equals to H. Putting the value of V1 from continuity equation, or V2 square by 2G into simple calculation, that is the A1 square minus A2 square upon A1 square equals to H, that is equals to V square V2 square equals to A1 square by A1 square minus A2 square into 2GH. So, V2 equals to A1 upon root over A1 square minus A2 square into root 2GH. We can easily calculate or easily we can find out the theoretical discharge, that is the QTH equals to A2 V2. So, A2 into, from this above equation, that is V2, put the value of V2, that is A2 into A1 upon root over A1 square minus A2 square into root 2 GH. So, mathematically expressed QTH equals to A2 V2, that is equals to, if we put the value of of A1, that is small a1, in spite of instead of A1 small a1 we can easily write, that is the capital A1, or and A2 small a2 instead of we write capital A2, then what happen, that is the QTH equals to A2 V2 equals to A2 into A1 upon root over A1 square minus A2 square into root 2 GH. So, V2 equals to A1 upon root over A1 square minus A2 square into root 2 GH. So, we can easily say that what is the definition of coefficient of discharge, that is the symbolically represents, that is C suffix D, that is the CD. So, we can easily say that it is the ratio of actual discharge upon theoretical discharge. So, we can easily write actual discharge QAC equals to CD into A1 A2 upon root over A1 square minus A2 square into root 2 GH. Now, we come to the next topic, orifice meter. What is orifice meter? Orifice meter is an instrument used to measure the discharge of a fluid through a pipe. It is the same function of venturimeter. So, It consists a pipe having a sharp edged circular hole known as orifice. A differential manometer is inserted into this pipe is known as difference of to know the difference of pressure. If we derive this equation, it is same as venturimeter. Let P1 V1 and Z1 be the pressure, velocity, datum, height at the section 1 and P2 V2 Z2 be the corresponding velocity at 2 section, and let x equals to deflection in the manometer liquid. So easily we write the capital caps A01, that is the area of the section 1 that is equals to pi by 4 into d square. That is, and another way A2, that is the pi by 4 into d2 square, that is the cross sectional area in 2 section. Same as we can easily write, that is the theoretical discharge QTH equals to A2 V2, that is equals to A2 into A1 upon root over A1 square minus A2 square into root 2 GH. In this figure, in this pipe there is a orifice is inserted in this pipe, that is the, and the in this arrow line in this pipe the direction of the flow, and in this particular position a differential manometer is inserted, and a particular in this arrow the vena contracta is shown this figure. Now particular in this figure we can easily calculate and easily find out the discharge of the orifice meter. Now the pitot tube. Come to the next point, next topic, that is the pitot tube. Pitot tube, in this figure there is a mentioning of pitot tube. Pitot tube is nothing. It is a actually it is a long bent tube, and which is used to measure the velocity of flow of liquid at any point in a pipe or channel. The basic pitot tube consists of a tube pointing directly into the fluid flow. It is based on the principle that if the velocity of flow at a point becomes 0, the pressure is increased due to the conversion of kinetic energy into pressure energy. This is the basic principle of the pitot tube. Again we see, if we say again, it is based on the principle. It is based on the principle that if the velocity of flow at a point becomes 0, the pressure is increased due to the conversion of kinetic energy into transform into the pressure energy. As this tube contains fluid, a pressure can be measured. The moving fluid is brought to rest, that is the stagnates, as there is no outlet to allow flow to continue. This pressure is stagnation pressure of the fluid. It consists of a tube bent at right angles having a small opening near one end of this pipe or of this tube, the small opening end, that is, if we say B, that means 2 portion, point 2 is placed in the flowing liquid of acting the direction of flow. When liquid enters the tube and rises up in the tube due to the conversion of kinetic energy into the pressure energy. Let P1 V1, if we deduce this velocity of pitot tube, so we can easily say that let P1 V1 Z1 be the pressure, velocity and datum height at point 1, and that means at point 1 point, and P2 V2 and Z2 be the corresponding velocity, corresponding value just at the entrance of the tube, 2 point. At the entrance V2 equals to 0. So we can write from the Bernoulli's equation P1 upon W plus V1 square upon 2G plus Z1, that is equals to P2 by W plus V2 square by 2G plus Z2, or P1 by W plus V1 square by 2G equals to P2 by W plus V2 square by 2G, as Z1 equals to Z2 because resting in same level, So P1 by W plus V1 square by 2G equals to P2 by W plus 0, that is equals to V1 square, or we can write V1 square by 2G equals to P2 minus P1 by W, or P1 equals to J, as P1 equals to H and P2 equals to, we can write capital H plus small h. In this figure there is a static pressure, and the above there is a rise in liquid level. That means V1 square upon 2G equals to W into capital H plus small h, that is the P2 minus W into capital H, that is the W into P1 by W. So V1 square by 2G equals to WH plus WH minus WH by W. So V1 square by 2G equals to H. So V1 square equals to 2GH. So V1 equals to root 2GH. On the same way, actually this is the theoretical velocity, that is the VTH. We can write VTH equals to root 2GH, where small h, that is the head. So we can easily write or easily create the definition coefficient of velocity, or CV. It is the ratio of actual velocity upon theoretical velocity, that is the VTH. So from this equation we can easily calculate theoretical velocity as well as actual velocity. Thank you. Waiting for my next topics, next video.